This guide will run you through how to conduct a single leg squat test with your client. The single leg squat test is an observational test used to assess quality of movement. In particular, dynamic hip, knee and foot control and lower limb function. As reported by Stickler, Finley, and Gulgin, in a study in 2015, it has practical relevance to any sport involving landing, cutting, or running. It is an easy and convenient assessment that requires little equipment to perform, making it a popular objective test. As fitness professionals, the single-leg squat test is a fantastic tool that allows us to provide our clients with even more adapted programs. Programs that contain prehabilitation exercises to address muscle imbalances and prevent injury. For example, if we see the knee caving in during the test and prove with further muscle testing that the functional cause of the problem is a weak gluteus medius, then we'll know to add some activation and strengthening exercises for this muscle. In order to decrease muscle inhibition to the gluteus medius, we may also add some myofascial rolling to the opposing muscle, the adductor complex. This will work to return correct muscular function and stabilize the knee. With the knee stabilized, our client will avoid developing knee pain, back pain or groin strain, which are all linked to a weak gluteus medius. Let's go ahead and take a look at the testing protocol for the single leg squat test. Have your client stand on one leg, while the other leg is lifted off the ground in front of their body, so that the hip is flexed to approximately 45 degrees and the knee of the non-stance leg flexed to approximately 90 degrees. Their arms are held straight out in front, with their hands clasped together. From this position, the client squats down until about 60 degrees of knee flexion, then returns to the start position. Have your client repeat this 4 to 5 times or until you have completed your observations. On the Assess page in your GoXPro, note your observations by clicking on the fields provided. Make sure to test both legs and to record your results under the correct leg. If your client chooses to perform the single leg squat with their torso in an upright position, record this as positive for quad dominance in the first field. Once recorded, correct your client's technique by having them hinge forward from the hips as they perform the movement. As a side note, quadriceps dominance arises when the quadriceps and hip flexors, iliopsoas, overpower the gluteal and hamstring muscles. It's common in cyclists and can increase the incidence of injury by over 4.5 times. Now, let's understand what to look for once your client starts squatting. As the coach, all you need to do is observe and record what's happening at each joint segment: the hip, the knee and the ankle. At the ankle, the foot might stay neutral. This would indicate correct muscular function. Or, the foot might roll in, pronate, or roll out, supinate. At the knee joint, the knee will either stay lined up over the second and third toes, the center of the foot, or it might track in, also known as dynamic knee valgus, or drift out away from the center of the body, also known as dynamic knee varus. At the hips, both hips might stay at the same height. This would indicate correct muscular function. Or, the hip on the non-stance leg might drop down towards the floor, also known as a hip drop. You might even observe this same hip rotating around, away from the stance leg, also known as hip rotation. Sometimes you'll observe a combination of these poor movement patterns. In this video we see a right hip drop with the left knee tracking in, also known as dynamic knee valgus. We also see that the client's left foot is rolling in. Here on the Assess page, we can see we have the left and right legs indicated. We record observations from our test here in the fields provided. For example, if we saw the knee tracking in, we simply click here. If we also saw a hip drop, we click yes. If we want to know more about this postural dysfunction, we click the Show More button to see a list of possible underactive and overactive muscles and the suggested exercises for our client's first program. We'll also see a list of suggested further muscle tests to confirm muscle weakness. On the Assess page we've included tutorial videos for each assessment to help fast-track your biomechanics knowledge. Click the plus icon on the thumbnails to open the video. We've also included a notes field for every assessment. These notes will show who added the note and when. Notes are then listed in order. Clicking on the Notes icon will open the Notes field. We've color-coded the Notes icons to avoid you having to open the Notes field to see if there are any. A green icon means that notes have been added during this assessment. A full gray icon means there are notes from a previous assessment, and an empty icon means there are no notes yet. Once you go to create a program for your client, in the Program Summary section you'll see the exercises that have been suggested for their first program. These exercises are based on your assessment results and are typically base-level exercises. An even better way to start building your program is to choose a program template that maps to your postural observations. Templates, once selected, are modifiable. You can even combine program templates into one program. This guide covered how to conduct a single leg squat test. We hope you enjoy performing this test as much as we do.